Good morning, welcome back to the channel where it is time for my Match Week 24 predictions for the 2019-2020 Premier League season. Now, a couple of things before we begin. First off, Liverpool and West Ham are playing twice this game week. Obviously, West Ham are at Leicester, Liverpool are at Wolves, and then a week on Wednesday they are playing their game in hand against West Ham at the London Stadium. Now, so obviously that has been included in this week's fixtures. So yeah, basically, if you are wondering, yeah, Liverpool and West Ham are playing twice, so they will appear twice in the description. So be interesting to see that one. But let's have a quick look at how I did Match Week 23. Now, obviously, I am against the Duty to Entertain channel on this predictions. So let's have a wee look how I did. So Watford Tottenham, I went for a 2-1 win to Watford that finished 0-0. So Watford really impressing again. Arsenal Sheffield United, I went for a 1-0 win to Arsenal that finished 1-1. Brighton Aston Villa, I went for a 1-1 draw between Brighton and Aston Villa. It was 1-1 between Brighton and Aston Villa. Man City Crystal Palace, I went for a 3-1 win to Man City that finished 2-2. So a very costly error from Fernandinho, giving them Palace the own goal there to get a 2-2 draw. Norwich City against Bournemouth, I went for a 2-1 win to Bournemouth. That finished 1-0 to Norwich. But quite a funny incident happened in that game, so we'll get to that. Southampton Wolves, I went for a 2-1 win to Southampton. It was looking very good for a time because they went 2-0 up, but Wolves came back and won 3-2, so a very good performance from Wolves. West Ham Everton, I went for a 2-0 win to Everton, that finished 1-1. Newcastle Chelsea, I went for a 2-1 win to Chelsea, that finished 1-0 to Newcastle. Last kick of the game that one was as well. Burnley Leicester, I went for a 2-0 win to Leicester, it finished 2-1 to Burnley. And Liverpool Manchester United, I went for a 2-1 win to Liverpool, it finished 2-0 to Liverpool. So because of an outcome and a perfect score to Mr. Exclusive's outcome, I won game week 23. So I'm 11-8 up now, so I've taken a 3 game week lead. So yeah, looking very interesting indeed. So let's have a look at the fixtures as well. Oh, actually, also before I start, please hit that subscribe button. That would be fantastic if you could do that as well. So, Match Week 24. These games are Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday this week. And then we obviously have FA Cup fixtures at the weekend. So I think that's why these games are being played this midweek. So we have Aston Villa against Watford. A derby match between Bournemouth and Brighton. Crystal Palace against Southampton. Everton against Newcastle. A very tricky away trip for Man City as they go to Bramall Lane to face Sheffield United. And then we've got the London derby between Chelsea and Arsenal. That's live on BT Sport, and I believe the Sheffield United Man City game is also live on BT Sport. Leicester City against West Ham. Tottenham Hotspur against Norwich City. Manchester United against Burnley. Wolves against Liverpool. And then obviously, like I've said, a week on Wednesday, West Ham against Liverpool. So we shall look forward to this game. So the first fixture of the midweek games is Aston Villa against Watford, and the last 5 between Aston Villa and Watford have resulted in 1 win to Villa, 1 draw and 3 wins to Watford, so they definitely have upper hand in this fixture. And in fact, the last fixture between the sides was a 3-2 victory for Watford, but obviously Watford beat Aston Villa 3-0 at Vicarage Road earlier this season as well. But Watford have been on an absolute fire recently. Aston Villa getting a very good point again against Brighton. Obviously, Pepe Reina made his debut, and to be honest, he made a couple of good saves. Obviously, Brighton are a very hard team to play against, and obviously Jack Grealish getting the equaliser as well. Who else would drag Jack Grealish? Jack Grealish is doing very well this season, and I think he is closer to an England call-up because obviously with lots of injuries in sort of the midfield for England. But I don't know if he will get a call-up this time, but you'll probably get a call-up very soon, I would think. But Aston Villa, they're coming in back at the front of the home fans, and they'll definitely be wanting to win a game again, because draws are good for you, but they're still 18th at the moment. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how they do against a very, very impressive Watford side, who I don't think have been beaten yet since the Liverpool game. So that's been 6 games now, and there's 6 games unbeaten. They've been absolutely fantastic, and in all honesty, they could have easily won against Spurs. Obviously, Troy Deeney had a penalty saved, but it was a very, very good performance from Watford, and they played very, very well against Spurs. And if it hadn't been for Ben Foster, Spurs might have nicked a 1-0 win there. So it was very, very good for Watford there. So this game, I am going to say that Watford are going to continue their recent good form. I think Villa have a lot of injuries at the moment. Obviously Wesley, Tom Heaton as well. I think once John McGinn comes back, I think they'll be much, much better in midfield for sure. They're definitely missing him. Will he get a striker? That's another thing you can ask. Will he get a striker in this window? Well, I do believe that they are getting that Genk striker who played against Liverpool in the Champions League. Name goes from me at the moment, but they will probably be getting a striker as well. So, having said that, I think Watford will go away to Villa Park, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to the Hornets here. I just think Watford will be too strong for Aston Villa, and it'll continue a very, very good run of games for Nigel Pearson. So it'll be very, very good for that. So Aston Villa 1, Watford 2. Bournemouth against Brighton now. This is a South Coast derby, of course. This is going to be a very, very good game, this one. And the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 3 wins to Bournemouth, 1 draw, and 1 win to Brighton. And in fact, that last victory for Brighton was earlier this season. They won 2-0 at the Amex. But the last fixture between the sides at the Vitality Stadium, it was 2-0 to Bournemouth. Bournemouth, another very poor defeat against Norwich. Not helped by the fact that Steve Cook wants to be a goalkeeper. What was he thinking? Yes, the ball is going over Aaron Ramsdale's head. Yes, the ball is probably going to go into the goal. But what you don't do is you basically try and go for a save of the season contender, because to be fair to Steve Cook, it was a very, very good save. But the consequences. He was always going to be sent off because he was the last man. And if you're a defender and you handball in the box and you're the last man, straight red for you. So, but Bournemouth, they had their chances. Callum Wilson had a gilt edge opportunity to put Bournemouth level and maybe get a point there. But yeah, it's not been very, very good for Bournemouth. They're in freefall. They are in freefall at the moment, but it's a derby game. They've got their derby game against Brighton, and form goes out the window, as they say, for derby matches. And I think this would be a very, very interesting game. Brighton, they're coming off the back of a 1-1 draw with Aston Villa. Probably the better side in that game. Until Jack Grealish got the equaliser. And then obviously, both sides, it was end to end. It was a very, very good game between Brighton and Aston Villa, and I think that will be very, very interesting going into this one. It's a derby game. Obviously, Brighton have won 1 out of the last 5 fixtures against Bournemouth. So, I think that this will be the game where form book does go out the window, and I'm going to go for a Bournemouth home win. I think Bournemouth will win this one very, very narrowly. I'm going for Bournemouth 2, Brighton 1 in the South Coast derby. I think that'll be a very, very good game, but I think it'll be a very, very close one. Bournemouth 2, Brighton 1 in the game. Crystal Palace against Southampton now, and the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 1 win to Palace, 2 draws, and 2 wins to Southampton, and the last result was a 2-0 win to Southampton at Selhurst Park. So Palace, very, very good performance against Manchester City. Probably unlucky not to repeat the 3-2 because they were excellent. They were really, really good. They played very, very well, and Cenk Tosun getting his first goal, fantastic header it was as well to beat Ederson from there. And I know that obviously Fernandinho own goal gave them a a 2-2 draw, but Palace played very, very well, and Guaita again, he was absolutely outstanding. Guaita, it's I think I'm going to run out of superlatives to describe him, because he's been absolutely fantastic this season for Palace, and a very, very good goalkeeper as well. But very, very good point away from home for Palace, and they're coming up against the Southampton side, who I know they lost 3-2 against Wolves, but still they're still giving teams a very, very good game, and it was disappointing to lose after being 2-0 up. But Southampton, I think you can say now that they're probably safe away from the relegation zone. I don't think they're going to be dragged into that. It'd be very, very interesting to see if they would be, but I just don't see it, and I think they're going to be very, very interesting to see how well they do. I think, but the only way is up for Southampton. However, having said that, going into this game, Palace have only won 1 at the last 5 against Southampton, but I just have a feeling that Palace, with that point that they got against Manchester City, will probably galvanise them to get the win against Southampton. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Palace at home in this game. I think it'll be a very, very close game, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Crystal Palace in this game. Everton against Newcastle now, and the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 3 wins to Everton, 1 draw and 1 win to Newcastle, and the last result was a 1-1 draw between the sides at Goodison. Everton getting a 1-1 draw with West Ham. Obviously David Moyes getting a point against his old club. Dominic Calvert-Lewin again. How many goals has he scored for Carlo Ancelotti? You would have to think that he's scored the majority of his goals since he's arrived on Merseyside. And it's a good point away from him, because obviously they were missing a couple of players. Obviously Richarlison was missing as well. So it'd be interesting to see if Richarlison will make it in this game. And it'd be interesting. It'd be very, very interesting to see how well they do. Obviously they're coming back in front of their Goodison Park faithful, and they'll be determined to win. But they are coming up against the Newcastle side, who I don't really want to say a smash and grab, but it was a very good victory against Chelsea. Alan Saint-Maximin, he definitely improves Newcastle United as a side. There's no doubt about it. He has been very, very good since he joined Newcastle. Fans' favourite for sure, and what a ball to put in Isaac Hayden to get that victory. Very, very good header, downward header. Kepa, yes, should do better. But apart from that, Newcastle were very, very good against Chelsea. Defended stubbornly very, very well as well. Dubravka made a couple of saves as well. So very, very good performance from Newcastle. So Everton Newcastle. I think it'll be a very, very close game. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to the Blues here. I think it'll be very, very close, but I'm going for a 1-0 win to the Blues. Potentially difficult game, this one, to predict, as Sheffield United against Manchester City. Excuse me. And the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 3 wins to City and 2 draws, and the last result was a 1-0 win to Man City. But obviously, earlier in the season, Man City won 2-0 against Sheffield United. Sheffield United getting a very, very good away point against Arsenal. John Fleck again. How many goals has he scored this season? He's probably in his best goal scoring season for the Blades at the moment. And it's a very, very good game for them, and they played very, very well against Arsenal. And probably could have snatched a win in the end, but very, very good performance from Sheffield United, and it's another very good point away from home. They're just doing so well this season. Chris Wilder's done a fantastic job, and probably rightfully will probably be one of their contenders for manager of the season, because what he's done at Sheffield United is absolutely fantastic. And if they can keep the bulk of their squad for next season, then I think they'll be absolutely fine there. But obviously, the second season syndrome will come into effect, but credit to where Sheffield United are at the moment. And they're coming up against the Manchester City side, who this is going to be a very difficult game for them, because Man City obviously 2-1 up, and then Fernandinho scores an own goal to make it 2-2, which is not very, very good for him. But Man City probably, in all honesty, they did play very, very well against Crystal Palace. However, obviously, they probably should have won that game. Aguero is now on 179 goals, so he's obviously passed Frank Lampard's record in the Premier League. So it'll be an interesting game, this one. But Man City are they are in good form. It was just I think they had a bit of an off day against Crystal Palace, but obviously Fernandinho scored an own goal as well. So will Laporte be back? That's another one you'd have to say. Will Laporte be back? I don't think he will be back for this game. I think it'll be a very, very close game, but I think Man City will sneak the win. But it's not going to be easy because Sheffield United always make it difficult for you, and especially at Bramall Lane, where they have picked the majority of their points up this season. Obviously, away from home, they've been absolutely fantastic. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Manchester City in the game. I think it'll be a very, very close game, but very, very hard one to call. I'm going for a 2-1 win to Manchester City in the game. Now we have a London derby now. We have Chelsea against Arsenal, and the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 2 wins to Chelsea, 2 draws, and 1 win to Arsenal, and the last result was a 3-2 win to Chelsea. But obviously the last game between the sides, Chelsea won 2-1 at the Emirates. So Chelsea coming away from Newcastle with a 1-0 defeat. Yeah, they had their chances. They definitely had the chances. But going into the last minute, Kepa, he has to save that. He has to. I know the downward header is a very, very good header, but he should save it. He should claw it around the post. He doesn't. And this is another example where Chelsea, Kepa's only young. He will get better. I'm pretty sure he will get better, but he has the worst save percentage in the Premier League this season, which is not very, very good for a Chelsea goalkeeper. However, I think he will get better. He is only young as well, but I think Chelsea do definitely need to maybe strengthen that goalkeeping in the summer. I think that might be one that they would have to look at. But they're coming up against an Arsenal side who obviously got a 1-1 draw. Martinelli obviously scoring in the Premier League, very, very good for him as well. Interesting to see how well they do, and I think it'll be a very, very close game in this one. But Arsenal going away to Chelsea without a Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, I think Chelsea will win this one. I think Chelsea will win quite comfortable as well. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Chelsea, and don't be surprised if there's a red card because a couple of games between the sides there's been a red card at least in one of the games at Stamford Bridge. So it's just Stamford Bridge for you. It is just Stamford Bridge. Something about it which I think it'll be very, very interesting. But I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Chelsea in the game. So there we go. Leicester City against West Ham now, and the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 1 win to Leicester, 1 win to West Ham, and 3 draws in there for good measure. And the last result was a 1-1 draw between Leicester City and West Ham. Obviously Leicester won 2-1 at West Ham earlier in the season, and that was the result that got Pellegrini the sack from West Ham. Leicester City, very, very poor defeat against Burnley. Jamie Vardy missing a penalty. It's not like him at all. Harvey Barnes getting the goal. Very, very good from him. Ben Chilwell dropped. Now, I think that's been coming, to be honest. I think Ben Chilwell's performances have really dropped off recently. The worrying thing for Leicester fans is that they've lost 4 out of the last 6 now. And it's not very, very good as well, but I think they'll be absolutely fine. I think they do definitely need to bounce back, and they are coming up against the West Ham side who got a 1-1 draw with Everton. And do you know what? I think there's some really hard games for West Ham coming up for sure, because obviously they've got Leicester City, they've got Liverpool in the next 2 fixtures, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see how well they do, I think. So with that being said, I expect Leicester City to bounce back. Not kept clean sheets quite recently either, so they would probably want to have a clean sheet. But having said that, West Ham do score goals as well. So for this game, I'm going to go for the same result the Leicester City beat West Ham by. at the London Stadium earlier in the season. I'm going to go for Leicester City 2, West Ham 1 in this game. I just think Leicester City will definitely want to bounce back. Be a very, very interesting game, but I'm going for 2-1 to the Foxes here in this game. Tottenham Hotspur against Norwich City in the next game, and the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 3 wins to Spurs, 1 draw and 1 win to Norwich City, and the last result was a 3-0 win to Spurs. But obviously the earlier game this season finished 2-2 between Norwich and Spurs. Spurs 0-0 with Watford, probably going away thinking that they could have snatched a win. They could have even lost the game. Choi Deeney's penalty saved by Paulo Gazzaniga, and to be fair to Gazzaniga, he has actually done really, really well in the Spurs goal. He has been very, very good, I think, and it'd be interesting to see who actually takes over when Lloris comes back. Obviously, it'd be interesting to see who stays in goal, because Gazzaniga, to be fair, he has been very, very good for Spurs, and be an interesting game this one, because obviously Norwich City, they're coming off the back of a 1-0 win over Bournemouth. Pookie, who else? I mean, Pookie loves scoring, doesn't he? Pookie party and all. Yeah, Norwich City, they're going away from home. I think they're the only team who've not got an away win this season. I think that might be right. So I think this is Tottenham's game. I think Tottenham will be too strong for Norwich. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Tottenham, but it'd be an interesting game because obviously they are still without Harry Kane. He won't be back till I think April or May. I think there even fears that he could miss the Euros, which would be absolutely really real blow for Tottenham. So if he does miss the Euros, that would be an absolute blow for them for sure. So it'll be very, very interesting indeed. But I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Spurs. Manchester United against Burnley now, and the last 5 between Manchester United and Burnley have resulted in 3 wins to United and 2 draws in there for good measure, and the last result was a 2-2 draw between Manchester United and Burnley. Obviously, Manchester United won the earlier fixture this season 2-0 against Burnley. Manchester United coming off the back of a 2-0 defeat to Liverpool yesterday. Now, one thing you can say, back 5 against Liverpool, it worked for a wee bit, but it only worked for about 14 minutes, because obviously Virgil van Dijk excuse me, Virgil van Dijk scoring from a corner. Why are Manchester United zonal marking? Who in their right mind would zonal mark at a corner? That's another thing you'd have to say. Who zonal marks at a corner? And that's obviously, Brandon Williams was on Virgil van Dijk. Why wasn't it Maguire? Why wasn't it Lindelof? That's another thing you can say about Manchester United. Yes, they had their chances, but Liverpool thoroughly deserved to win in that game. And in all honesty, Manchester United probably go away from there thinking, 2-0, it's not a bad result, because, if Liverpool were clinical, that could have been 6, could have been 7, it could have been 8. It was a totally dominant performance. Yes, they came back into it in the second half. Martial had a shot blazed over the bar. He should have scored. Pereira just missed. If he connects with his left foot, he scores. That's one thing. He does score that. And then obviously Fred put one wide as well. And then Dan James being the one to obviously follow back Salah as well. There's something very, very wrong with Manchester United. And Marcus Rashford is now out to 2-3 months. So will Manchester United definitely dip into the transfer market? That'd be interesting to see who they could bring in as a short-term replacement. But Rashford's an absolute fire this season, and I think that's a big, big blow for Manchester United. So it'll be very, very interesting to see. Burnley, they're coming off the back of a 2-1 win over Leicester and a very, very good performance against Leicester City. Very, very good indeed. Shall be very interesting to see how well they do in this one. Obviously, they've got 2 draws in the last 5 fixtures against Manchester United. I think they can go to Old Trafford, really, really make the Manchester United fans quiet. I think it'll be a very, very close game. But I can't separate these two. I really, really can't. I think Manchester United are missing Rashford. If Rashford was playing, I think you would probably put a Manchester United win. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between Manchester United and Burnley. I just think Manchester United at this moment in time, they're very, very inconsistent. So be very, very interesting. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw with Manchester United and Burnley. Now, Wolves against Liverpool, the next game. In the last 5 fixtures, Liverpool have won all 5 fixtures in the last 5, and the last result was a 2-0 win to Liverpool at Molineux. But obviously Liverpool won 1-0 earlier in the season. Obviously VAR controversy, so hopefully that won't happen this weekend, this midweek either. Wolves, very, very good performance against Southampton, obviously 2-0 down, and then they came back and won 3-2. Very, very good from them. Jimenez again scoring. Jimenez is probably the highest scoring Mexican, I think, in the Premier League. I think I'm not entirely sure, but he's been absolutely fantastic since he's joined Wolves. Very, very good performance from them, and it's a very, very good win, because obviously it'd be very, very interesting to see, 2-0 down. I think they were 2-0 down very, very early on, but very, very good to get 3-2. And they're coming up against the league leaders. Be an interesting game, because obviously Liverpool have to be wary, because obviously Wolves beat Manchester City. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how well they can do against Liverpool. Liverpool, obviously, they're coming off the back of a 2-0 win over Manchester United. As we said, it was a dominant performance from Liverpool. Very, very good as well. And they're going away to Wolves, and obviously just basically Liverpool just have to continue winning. That's what they just have to do. They just have to continue winning. Don't focus on who drops points, etc., etc. So it'll be very, very interesting. But I'm going to go for Liverpool to go away to Molineux and maybe keep another clean sheet, because they've got 7 clean sheets now. 10 clean sheets in the last 11 games. That's fantastic form. It really, really is. 7 clean sheets in a row. I'm going to go for them to make it 8 clean sheets in a row. Wolves 0, Liverpool 2. And the final game to preview is that game a week on Wednesday is West Ham against Liverpool. This is Liverpool's game in hand, and they could be out of touch by that point as well. West Ham, the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 1 draw and 4 wins to Liverpool in the last games, and the last result was a 1-1 draw between West Ham and Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool and West Ham have not played this season, so it'll be very interesting to see. So West Ham, regardless of their game against Leicester City, the London Stadium has not really been kind to West Ham this season. It really, really hasn't. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do against Leicester City. I've obviously said that for them to lose to Leicester, so it'd be interesting to see how well they bounce back, I think. But West Ham will go into that game against Liverpool and thinking, Liverpool, they will definitely be up for it. They'll definitely be up for it for sure. Liverpool, if they go away to Wolves, they've obviously got Shrewsbury in the FA Cup as well. West Ham have got West Brom in the Cup as well. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of teams they play. I would expect West Ham to play probably a strong side. I think Liverpool can be able to drop a few players to play against Shrewsbury, so I think they might make a few changes for sure. So this game, I'm going to go for West Ham 0, Liverpool 2, so that would be 8 clean sheets in a row. So fingers crossed for that, but we'll see what happens as well. So that is it. That is my match week 24 predictions, done and dusted for another week, and I'll give you my predictions very, very quickly. Aston Villa 1, Watford 2, Bournemouth 2, Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 2, Southampton 1, Everton 1, Newcastle 0, Sheffield United 1, Manchester City 2, Chelsea 2, Arsenal 0, Leicester City 2, West Ham 1, Tottenham 3, Norwich City 0, Manchester United 1, Burnley 1, Wolves 0, Liverpool 2, West Ham 0, Liverpool 2. So that is it. That is my match week 24. I will leave a description of these fixtures in the description below. All you have to do is basically copy and paste and give me your predictions for the upcoming midweek games. So we'll look forward to these games. Good luck to your teams. Obviously, the live games are obviously Sheffield United against Manchester City. That is a 7:30 kickoff. Chelsea against West Ham. Chelsea against Arsenal. Sorry, I should say. That is on at 8:15 on BT Sport. And then obviously we've got Wolves against Liverpool. That is also on BT Sport as well. So enjoy the football. Shall be looking forward to this midweek fixtures as well. But if you do like my content, then please hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notifications bell for every upload that is on this channel. Smash a like, leave a comment, smash a like on this video as well. That'd be absolutely fantastic. But enjoy the football, unless you're a Wolves fan, I can't have you beating Liverpool, and we'll see what happens very, very soon. But thank you very much for watching, and enjoy your day. And I'll be back probably tomorrow with my match for the SPFL predictions. That'll be interesting to see. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care. Bye bye for now.